Hi, I'm Sam Murphy. Today I'm going to be reading you Cinderella. The wife of a rich man fell sick, and as she felt that her end was drawing near, she called her only daughter to her beside and said, "Dear child, be good and pious, and then the good God will always protect thee, and I will look down on thee from heaven and be near thee." Thereupon, she closed her eyes and departed. Every day the maiden went out of her mother's grave and wept, and she remained pious and good. When winter came, the snow spread a white sheet over the grave, and when the sun had drawn it off again, the man had taken another wife. The woman had brought two beautiful daughters into the house with her, who were gorgeous and fair of face, but vile and black of heart. Now began a bad time for the poor stepchild. Is the stupid goose to sit in the parlor with us? Said they. He who wants to eat bread must earn it. Out with the kitchen wench. They took her pretty clothes away from her, put old gray bedgown on her, and gave her wooden shoes. Just look at the proud princess. How decked out she is, they cried and laughed, and led her into the kitchen. There she had to do hard work from morning till night, get up before daybreak, carry water, light fires, cook, and wash besides this. The sisters did her every imaginable injury. They mocked her and emptied her peas and lentils into the ashes, so that she was forced to sit and pick them out again. In the evening, when she had worked till she was weary, she had no bed to go to, but she had to sleep by the fireside in the ashes, and soon the account she always looked dusty and dirty. They called her Cinderella. It happened that the father was once going to fair, and he asked his two stepdaughters what he should bring back for them. Beautiful dresses, said one. Pearls and jewels, said the second. And thou, Cinderella, said he, what wilt thou have? Father, break off for me the first branch which knocks against your hat on your way home. So he bought beautiful dresses, pearls, and jewels for his two stepdaughters, and on his way home he was riding through a green thicket. A hazel twig brushed against him and knocked off his hat. Then he broke off the branch and took it with him. When he reached home, Cinderella gave the branch from the hazel bush. Cinderella thanked him, went to her mother's grave and planted the branch on it, and wept so much that the tears fell down and it all watered it. It grew, however, and became a handsome tree. Thrice a day Cinderella went and sat beneath it, and wept and prayed, and a little white bird always came on the tree. And if Cinderella expressed a wish, the bird threw down to her what she had wished for. It happened, however, to the king appointed a festival which was to last 3 days, and to which all beautiful young girls in the country were invited, in order that his son might choose himself a bride. When the two stepsisters heard that they were to appear among the number, they were delighted, called Cinderella and said, "Comb our hair for us, brush your shoes, and fasten our buckles, for we are going to the festival of the king's palace." Cinderella obeyed, but wept because she too would have liked to go with them, and begged her stepmother to allow her to do so. "Do go, Cinderella," said she. "Thou art dusty and dirty, and wouldst go to the festival? Thou hast no clothes, no shoes, and wouldst dance?" As, however, Cinderella went on asking the stepmother, at last said, "I had emptied a dish of lentils into the ashes for thee. If thou hast picked them out, in 2 hours thou shalt go with us." The maiden went through the back door into the garden and called, "You tame pigeons, you turtle doves, and all you birds beneath the sky, come and help me to pick the good into the pot, the bad into the crop." Then the two white pigeons came by the kitchen window, and afterwards the turtle doves and the last of all the birds beneath the sky came whirring and crowding, and alighted amongst the ashes, and the pigeons nodded their heads, began pick, 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 and the rest began also pick, 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 and gathered all the good grains. Into the dish hardly had 1 hour passed before they had finished, and all flew out again. The girl took the dish to her stepmother, and was glad and believed that now she would be allowed to go with them to the festival. But the stepmother said, "No, Cinderella, thou hast no clothes, thou canst dance, thou wouldst only be laughed at." And as Cinderella only wept this, the stepmother said, "If thou canst pick dishes out of lentils, out of the ashes for me in an hour, thou shalt go with us." And and she thought to herself that she most certainly cannot do. When the stepmother had emptied the 2 dishes of lentils amongst the ashes, the maiden went through the back door into the garden and cried, "You tame pigeons, you turtle doves, and all you birds beneath the sky, come and help me pick the good into the pot, and the bad into the crop." The 2 white pigeons came in by the kitchen window, and afterwards the turtle doves and the length, all the birds beneath the sky, came whirring and crowding in, and alighted amongst the ashes, and the doves nodded with their heads and began pick, 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 and the others began also pick, 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 and gathered all the good seeds into the dishes, and before half an hour was over, they already finished, and all flew out again. And all flew out again. Then the maiden carried the dishes to the stepmother and was delighted and believed that she might now go with them to the festival. But the stepmother said, "All this will not help thee. Thou goes not with us, for thou hast no clothes and canst not dance. We should be ashamed of thou." And this she turned her back on Cinderella, and hurried away with her 2 proud daughters. As no one would come now be at home, Cinderella went to her mother's grave beneath the hazel tree and cried, "Shiver and quiver, little tree, silver and gold throw down over me." Then the bird threw a gold-silver dress down on her, slippers embroidered with silk and silver and leather plaid. She put on the dress. She put on the dress with all speed and went to the festival. Her stepsisters and stepmother, however, did not know her, and thought she must have been a foreign princess. For she looked so beautiful in the golden dress, they never once thought of Cinderella and believed that she was sitting at home in the dirt picking out lentils out of the ashes. The prince went to meet her, took her by the hand, and danced with her. He would dance with her. He would dance with no other maiden, and never left loose of her hand. And if anyone else came to invite her, he said, "This is my partner." She danced till the evening, and then she wanted to go home. But the king's son said, "I will go with thee and bear thee company." From however, and sprang into the pigeon house. The king's son maiden had leapt into the pigeon house. The old man thought, "Can it be Cinderella?" In her dirty clothes amongst the ashes, a dim little oil lamp was burning. A dim little oil lamp was burning on the mantelpiece, for Cinderella had jumped quickly down from the back of the pigeon house, had run to the little hazel tree, and there she had picked off her beautiful again, and then she placed herself into the kitchen in her gray gown. The next day, the festival began afresh. Stepsisters, once more Cinderella went to the hazel tree. "Shiver and quiver, little tree, silver and gold thrown down over me." Then the bird down a much more beautiful dress on the preceding day, and Cinderella was appeared at the festival. This everyone was astonished at her beauty, and the king waited until she came, and instantly took her by the hand and danced with no one but her. When others came and invited her, he said, "She is my partner." When evening came, she wished to leave, and the king's son followed her and went to the house, but she sprang from away into the garden behind the house. There stood a beautiful tall tree, which hung in most magnificent pears. Turn and peep, the blood's within the shoe. The shoe is too small for her, the true bride waits for you. Then he looked at her foot, and saw how the blood was streaming from it. He turned his horse round and took the false bride home again, and said, "This one was not true." One the other sister would put on the shoe, then once her into the chamber, her toes safely into the shoe, but her heel was too large, so her mother gave her a knife, more to go on a foot. The maiden cut a bit of her heel, forced forced her foot into the shoe, swallowed the pain, and went out to the king's son. He took her on his horse and bride and rode away with her. But when they passed by the hazel tree, two little pigeons sat and cried, turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe is too small for her, the true bride waits for you. Turn and peep, turn and peep, no blood in the shoe. The shoe is not too small for her, the bride rides with you. The end. And Cinderella